everyone, it's Tanya. Hi everyone, it's Tanya from Tanya Kraus Horsemanship, and you are joining me for an episode of the Millie Diaries, or you're joining me for a preparation for trailer loading education system. So that's what I've chosen to work on with Millie over the next 30 days. She has been in a trailer, so her history is basically that when she was a 2-year-old, she hurt herself quite significantly and was transported to treat that injury and then transported home. Then as a 5-year-old, she was transported to a colt starting clinic that I was teaching, and from there she was passed on to me, and then she was transported from the colt starting clinic to my place, and then she was transported, I think, to a clinic in between, so another 2 times there and back, and then we did evacuations due to the fires and she was transported there and back. So she's been in a trailer less than 10 times. She's not super confident about getting in the trailer. It does take a little while to get her in there. I think even in the evacuations when there was another horse in the trailer, it probably took her, you know, maybe I think on the way it maybe took her about 20 minutes or something, maybe half an hour or something, and then on the way home maybe about 15 minutes. So not drastically, you know, a long time, but certainly longer than I would like. All of my horses, you point them at the trailer and they get in, and that's my expectation. So anything less than that is certainly something that I feel like needs to be addressed, and I certainly have the expectation of them getting straight in the trailer. The other thing about the hesitation is it tells me she's not that happy about the trailer, so that's why I want to definitely hope to make her more confident, whether it's a claustrophobia issue or who knows what she doesn't like about it. It doesn't really matter. So you would have seen part 1, which is where I begin. So the prerequisite to this is that the horse is in the halter, that she follows the guidance of the halter, and you can actually basically send her around you in a circle. That's sort of what we're wanting to do as a very basic thing before we start trailer loading training. Then you saw the episode yesterday or a day ago where I was using the barrel to try and help her with her claustrophobia. So as I explained yesterday, I started with the barrel a great distance or a reasonable distance from the fence, a couple of meters, and then I put it into about 1 meter. I only put it in because the horse was confident with it already. If she had been worried at 2 meters, I would have left it there. I would have quit the session. So when you're talking about squeezing the horse between the barrel and the fence, I'm going to go ahead and say that until your horse is confident, you shouldn't go to the next stage. So Millie was pretty confident about that. So what I'm going to do today is introduce asking her to actually stop between the barrel and the fence. So sometimes the walkthrough is just simply fine for them. They're like, yep, no worries at all. But then when you actually ask them to stop in there, that's when that claustrophobia overwhelms them a bit and they sort of think, oh, I don't want to stop in here, I don't like it. So that's what we're going to build to. But first, I'm going to repeat yesterday's lesson where I just asked her to walk through in between the barrel and the fence. It's important with these lessons that you do repeat to some degree the lesson of the day before, if it is only just to touch base with the horse, because it gives the horse confidence in what you're doing. As soon as I've done this for 7 days, Millie's going to go ahead to these barrels and go, oh, I know exactly what's expected of me. I'm going to go ahead and walk through and stop and all the rest of it. And what we're doing is layering pressure. So you may have been to a course of mine where I talk about layering pressure, or you may have seen it on the online training platform. But basically that's what I'm doing in regards to this trailer loading. So I'm going to get started now. I'm going to go ahead and repeat yesterday's lesson. So I'm going to stand still. I've got the barrel about 1 meter from the fence. I ask her to walk between the barrel and the fence. That's pretty nice. I'm going to ask her to do it one more time to the left. And then I'm going to change direction and do it to the right. that's pretty nice as well. Remember yesterday when we did this, she actually was trotting to the right. Good. So on that pass through, she kept her head nice and level, she was nice and relaxed, she happily went in both directions. There's no need for me to repeat anything else anymore from yesterday's session. When they present to you in that way, they understand it, they execute it confidently. There's no point in me keeping going and going and going and going. So I'm going to go straight to now asking her to stop. Perfectly in beside it there, but that's a pretty good start. You could see that she was sort of like, what? You want me to stop? Good. And then I'm going to ask her to lead through again. So there I asked her to stop, and what she did was she stopped too quickly. Which was lovely and responsive for what I asked her to do, but she sort of stopped before she got to in between the fence and the barrel, which is fine. So you can see there that she wasn't happy to stop that time. She's realised now that what I'm asking her to do is stop in that squeeze. And she'd rather not do it. There we go, that's pretty nice. I'm going to let her rest in there for a second. And what I'm hoping for is a bit of a lick and chew or acknowledgement that she understands that this is part of what I'm asking her to do. So there's her head lowering, that's quite nice. She wants to back out of it. So see how it doesn't have to be. You can see that she's getting a little bit irritated with it. She doesn't want to stop right next to that barrel, which is fine. She's starting to sort of swish at flies and say, well, I don't want to be here, I want to be back out there. So I'm just going to ask her to place herself, and we'll see there if she can just relax a little in between the barrel and the fence. I don't want her to run through that halter. So I'm certainly going to ask her to stop when I tell her to stop, but I'm also going to understand that she doesn't, there's my lick and chew, I'm going to go ahead and walk away from that. Good girl. So I'm going to let her loose from that. I'm going to quit the session there, which kind of probably seems very quick, but there's a method to my madness, and those of you who have watched the Millie Diaries previously know that the more I can quit on this mare, the more I can say, yes, that's all I wanted, yes, that's all I wanted, the faster this whole process goes for her. And that's true of any horses. So already you could see there when I pulled up with the halter and lead, she was kind of like, I don't want to be near you, I want to swish flies, I want to do this. And as soon as I've let her go now and she's unrestrained, now she's actually walked up next to me and she's sort of like, oh, okay, I want to stand with you. So one thing that we have to realise with our horses is that when they're worried about something, the body language isn't necessarily hugely significant. So you would probably have watched that, or many people would have watched that and gone, oh, she's not even bothered about standing between the barrel and the fence. You can absolutely move on to the next phase. If I had have felt that she was absolutely not bothered by it, I would have asked her to do it on the right rein. So what I have to make a mental note of now is that I haven't done the right rein with the stopping. I've only done the left. So that's tomorrow's goal, is to try and get the right rein done. One thing that I do have to realise is that, the first time that she stopped in there, it was kind of, I'm not going to say it's a fluke, but it was kind of a fluke. She kind of went, oh, stop, okay. And because it surprised her, because we'd been lunging through, she kind of executed it without really sort of going, oh, no, I don't want to, or whatever. So the second time I asked her to stop, she sort of said, yep, I'll stop outside of the barrel. And then when I asked her to move forward and stop, she sort of was like, oh no, I'm not sure I want to stop in here. And that's when the agitation started with, oh, there's a fly on me, oh, I'm going to kick at my belly, oh, I don't like it. So it was all very mild. She wasn't running past me or anything like that, but it was enough to tell me that she wasn't 100% confident with standing in that small gap. So if I can recognize that and quit on a really good note, tomorrow we're going to be able to execute that a lot better than we have today. So looking forward to sharing that with you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.